KTN News. Get the whole story.
Hello, welcome to the Trading Bell. I'm Nokip Kimboy. Yesterday was the International Women's Day. Very critical to look at the milestones we've met, not only in the corporate world, but also in our personal lives. I mean, if you compare the life that your grandmother lived, the life that your mom lived, the life that your daughter is living, and the life that your great-granddaughter will be living, is there a sort of improvement? As the story that we are outlining today, the challenges that we've had to overcome in the world of equal representation, not only in the workspace, in the corporate world at large. And today I'm honored to speak to one incredible gentleman, Mr. Mwangi Githaiga, who is the Managing Director, Kenya Women Microfinance Bank. Thank you, Mr. Githaiga, for joining us right here on Trading Bell. I mean, looking back at the progress when you talk about women empowerment and women representation, first of all, the formation of Kenya Women from the source was one of those steps, but I believe was a game changer. Help us understand how that was a shift in terms of women empowerment in the corporate world and generally, because your impact trickles down to the very roots of this nation.
Thank you very much. The women empowerment agenda has been there since when we were children, and you remember the Beijing conference stories and all that. And in the 80s, our founders, the founding mothers of this institution, who are represented by Mrs. Mary Okero, she was working with Barclays Bank. She was actually the first black African woman to be a manager. And she discovered from her story that it's not easy for a woman not to work just in a bank, but even to access banking products and services. And she discovered that even if she tried to do women empowerment within the bank, there were inhibitions that were in place that denied women to have access. A woman could never have access to a credit card because she doesn't have an ID, and she doesn't own an account anyway. So at that point, she needed a spouse card. And you can imagine, you are talking about 52% of Kenyans' population being dominated by 48%. Either you need your husband to accompany you to your bank, or you need your father to do that. So those were the issues that were put on the table, and our founding mothers felt that it was important to have a women's bank in place. So it's been a journey from 1981 up to now. The issues that were being addressed then have changed in terms of form and intensity, but basically they remain the same. Women have no access to collateral. Only about 19% of the title deeds in this country are in the names of women. The rest of them are in the names of men. Even with the change of the law, where we said women can inherit land from their fathers, inhibitions are put in place through cultural methods. So the discrimination, the excluding women to participate in the economy, it's been there. And not just the economy, we are talking about even the political environment, because a person who is economically disempowered cannot participate in the political arena. And those are the issues that we are dealing with. KWFT then was formed in the early 80s. It has gone through very many motions, and we are represented in 45 of the 47 counties. We are still looking ways of entering Wajir and Madera. But because there are women who are there who need the services. 80% of our business is in the rural area, because majority of the women who we would like to retain in the rural areas are out there. And our idea and our agenda is to curb the rural-urban migration, because you understand that in rural-urban migration, people migrate to the urban areas to look for opportunities. When they end up in the slum areas, women and children are the ones who suffer the most. So we feel that is not a correct approach. We need to take development to the people. So that's what we've been doing, and we've been doing it religiously. We work with about 800,000 women across the country. We have served many more, but we give credit and we also give financial services.
Very important, because you've mentioned the issue of collateral, which is big in the finance world. In fact, everyone is looking the issue of security, and credit is critical to the development. And you're saying that a very marginal number of women have collateral in the traditional sense that we know. Otherwise, you need somebody's title deed is attached maybe to a husband's name, so it becomes very difficult. Maybe from your experience, give me the importance of financing women businesses that is so revolutionary that we really need to relook at the whole aspect of how we fund women businesses.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. First of all, when you look at our mothers and our sisters and our daughters, you find that women start from, they are able to nurture. And when you think about a business, it comes as an idea, and the issue of nurturing it to a certain level, then the women are very good at it because they are patient. They are not willing. They are not willing to divert the money to other areas. Men are a little bit, women are a little bit different because, you get 100,000, you can treat yourself with 10 and put 90,000 in the business. A woman, you give her 10,000. She puts it in the business and she religiously protects it.
When we talk about representation, oftentimes, especially in the corporate world, we are very good with our words. We'll come, throw in data, 64% representation, but there is what happens here and there is what happens on the ground. And I'm glad that I'm speaking to you because your bank, actually, as much as you're talking here, also on the ground, you're seeing the impact of, investing in women-led businesses. But overall speaking, do you feel there is a disconnect between what we're talking about and what exactly is happening on the ground?
Yeah, I thank you. Yeah, I think things sometimes don't look the way we imagine they look. When we talk about women representation, we, as a company, what we believe in is that women need to be given, first of all, participation in ownership. They can't be served by organizations that do not even understand their issues. We always assume that we understand what they want and we have a solution, to all the problems. So we need to give women ownership because the biggest financial inclusion is ownership. If you serve me, then what am I within the organization? How can I drive a change within that organization? And for KWFT, 67% of the company is owned by women, and that gives us what we are looking at. Then when you look at the board, and I know at the board everybody, say, well, let's get 1/3. 1/3. Now you have an oppressor who is telling you that 1/3 is good for you when you are 52%, and the person on the other side is 48%. Then I'm telling you that 1/3 is good for you and you are 52% of the population. That's already at that point there is discrimination because they should be 50-50 to the bare minimum. Whether we are talking about corporate world, whether we are talking about politics, we are talking about parliament, we are talking about representation in the county government, we should move from the word 1/3 gender rule because 1/3 gender rule means 1/3 women because it's already on this other side. So we are saying if we do 1/3, we have already met the target. We shouldn't agree, and women should not agree on issues of being represented by 1/3 representation. There should be total and proper representation, and it doesn't matter what it takes. I think this thing has to be sorted out. And when you look at the corporate world is as bad as the political world and our government system. In fact, I think corporates are doing worse because even when you get to the corporate world and you go to boards, you'll find that women may be 1/3, but they are never given leadership. They never sit at the chair. They get some positions that are down there that actually box them to an activity that men don't want to do. So you find women getting together, they are men and women, they choose the woman as the secretary. But the man is the chair and the man looks after the money. So you are 1/3, yes, but doing notes. So these are things that have to be sorted out. At the corporate level also, these are issues that have to be sorted. At the employment level, like in KWFT, 55% of our employees are women, which is okay, because if women are 52%, then 55% is not overrepresentation. But then when you get to the top table that makes decisions, you find that very few women are able to get that level, because on the back end, they have families to deal with. When they get to childbearing age, they are overburdened with responsibility at home, where the man can come late. I've come from a board meeting, I get home, my wife is waiting for me, and I am taken care of. A woman can't do that. She has to be home early to make sure that children have eaten, the husband's food is cooked. So she deliberately, she has been boxed to take, jobs that cannot demand that she is at the top. So all that agenda needs to be dealt both at the home level, through our education system, but even more at the corporate, to make sure that we look after the women and give them an equal opportunity, and also create interventions that enables them to get to the top. For example, make sure that if a woman, you are interviewing a woman and a man, and the woman has just come from maternity leave and all that, and the man scores 75%, the woman scores 70%. You give it to the lady because she has scored 70 within a very difficult situation. Those are the issues that deliberately corporates need to deal with. However, having said that, what we also would notice is that although you may make it in the corporate world, you are given to positions that they are felt are women-like. The positions men don't. The hard positions they are spared for men. So it's a big ball game, and it is a gender war. In fact, I keep telling women that you should not plead for what is yours. You should demand what is yours. And there is no war that over dominant gender, over a gender that is dominated, that can be won through negotiations, through soft talk. Okay. People have to come out and demand that Parliament is not represented, women are not represented in Parliament by women reps.
Yes.
Because if they are women rep, then it should be 50% of Parliament, because women are 52%. But when you say 1/3, you already have isolated women out of decision making. Yeah, and I look forward when we have a woman president in this country, because women can put a president in.
Yeah.